Now that I don't sound like I'm coming in through a wind tunnel, welcome everyone back to the Devil May
People don't know
Cry
what you're
5
talking
playthrough.
about.
So we already did this part once, but my audacity set itself to my webcam. Now that was 15 seconds and not 30 seconds, so bleep that out, future me, thank you. Anyway, welcome back to the Devil May Cry 5 playthrough, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for V to actually tell Nero what the hell is going on with this plot. It's been a long time coming, but I guess it just wasn't important to Nero, from V's perspective, to know who the hell Virgil was. Because Virgil had no idea that he had a son, even though Devil May Cry 4's special edition cutscenes imply that he intentionally conceived a child there, because he's walking away all dramatic, like saying, "Soon you will know the power of a son of Sparta." But I guess he forgot about that in the intervening. Let's see, it's been a couple...
You know, he's a busy guy.
It's been a couple decades since he exploded. So, you know, how did he reconstitute after all that time? That's what I'm wondering. Anyway, it's time to fight a living, breathing, rock'em sock'em robot.
I do have to say, it is very refreshing seeing a blue sky after being in that tree for 4 parts.
Ever.
We're still in the tree. It's actually an illusion of what Dante's house used to look like. Because apparently, when Urizen and V split up, Urizen planted the tree beneath Virgil and Dante's childhood home, which is why their house is just sort of stuck at the base of the tree there.
I'm sure it's symbolic of something, but...
It's symbolic of that just being where Urizen was when he was born. Well, I mean, as a child, too. Although I suppose as a child he was born in a hospital somewhere in the neighborhood. But, like, when Urizen and V split, it was actually in his house. They went to the house. Virgil went to the house and stabbed himself with the Yamato to make the split. Although, that does give this entire boss arena kind of the unpleasant feeling of being a DMC Devil May Cry secret mission arena. Because they used the area outside Dante's house in that for the secret missions, or for several of the secret missions at least.
So special to me.
You could just shoot it now, Dante.
Dante, it's a glowing thermonuclear demon apple. Of course it looks special.
Ooh, those are my favorite. It has that particular crunch to it.
That day Mother saved me and
Is there a Granny Smith variety?
left you.
No. To my knowledge, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, because Dante's grandma isn't named Smith. It's probably something like, you know, Patricia the Demon Overlord Merciless One, something like that.
That's a long name.
Yeah, well,
I like the better one was just an apple.
His grandma's a demon. What did you expect?
So, like, even though Urizen doesn't really actually have memories of being human Virgil, the fruit was planted, you know. Like, I suppose at the time that they split. So, the fruit itself is projecting his memories. I guess. Once again, Devil May Cry plays pretty fast and loose with its own lore. And world building and all of that. Anyway, the sky is falling apart in the background. That is a much more striking boss arena.
That last shred of humanity that you still had.
It's trying to catch up, wobbling on its cane, you know.
In desperate need of moisturizer too. That man is ashy.
Man.
Very cracked skin.
Ugh. That just, you know, that image just, now that you put it in my head, it physically hurts to think about.
Don't think about it too much.
Why did you even bring it up?
Because it was a very obvious joke.
No, I'm like, why did you bring it up? I hate you now.
You gotta go for the low-hanging fruit. Like,
Well, I've been doing this for a
yours in
long
game.
time.
Although that fruit was kind of high-hanging, especially considering how tall this motherfucker is.
The fact that this guy is so big but fights with, like, basically Beowulf moves, it makes for an interesting boss fight, but also one that's a bit difficult to take seriously.
He is doing all the anime bullshit stuff.
It is interesting that Urizen fights with what are basically Beowulf moves. I mean, very basic Beowulf moves, but it's something that Virgil knows how to do.
Is Beowulf like a Soul Calibur character?
No, Beowulf is the gauntlet weapon from Devil May Cry 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that game, the boss who would have given you the Beowulf gauntlets escapes Dante, but gets killed by Virgil in his very next cutscene. So when you fight Virgil the second time, he has the Beowulf gauntlets, and you don't get them yourself until you pick them up off the ground after the battle.
Okay. Whenever anybody says Beowulf, I think of the stupid poem. So you know.
Oh man,
I think of that CGI movie.
Yeah, that's about the stupid poem.
Oh, okay.
I just got punted out of the air. That was embarrassing.
First down.
He does look like a football player. Oh my god.
Oh my, yeah, he is a football player, right?
He has the shoulder pads, so
Set hike. Look, he's even kneeling for the football.
Now I'm just thinking of some alien Space Jam-esque football movie.
with Looney Tunes.
No, this is too off-brand to be Looney Tunes. I'm thinking it'll be an Image Comics crossover or something obscure like that.
Youngbloods.
I haven't heard Youngbloods be spoken of in many moons.
Man, you know, I was at a game and comic shop not too long ago, an independently owned game and comic shop with some guitars on the back shelf for some reason, and their used comic section had a bunch of Image comics in it and stuff, and I'm looking through them and I'm like, I actually owned these as a kid. Oh god, how do I remember this shit?
I don't remember a lot of Image comics out the grocery store rack. It was mostly DC and Marvel from what I remember, and Archie.
It was Archie. It was all Archie for me.
A lot of the Image comics that I owned had that sort of you don't want to remember them, but you remember them anyway quality that one Captain America meme image also has. You know, the one where the
you're talking
Rob
about
Liefeld.
Big Booby?
the one where the anatomy makes no goddamn sense, yeah. Although I did have like a big graphic novel volume story from Image Comics, at least I think it was Image Comics at one point, where like the universe ended because two characters fell in love or some shit.
One of my favorite Image Comics lines ever is for the comic of The Darkness, which the video game The Darkness on 360 was based off of. I hear that the game is actually a pretty decent first-person shooter, but the comic's terrible. The way that they end the first issue is there's this government guy and he's like, we gotta stop him from having sex! Because if he has a kid, then his demon power goes to his kid and then he dies. And they want... And they convince him to not have sex with humans by saying, with your demon power, you can make as many succubus concubines as you want. And then he's like, okay. It's like, oh my god. The 90s were a mistake.
Better time to get to work.
Well, the story I'm thinking of has nothing to do with that. It was just a story about how two characters from different universes wanted to do the nasty, and the moment they did, the universe would end, and for some reason they did. But I don't know what reason they did it for, because the story never goes into their perspective. It just kind of happens. I'm not really sure what they were smoking when they wrote it, because the entire comic kind of felt like a fever dream, to be honest. Doubly so, because I was too young to know what any of it fucking meant. I mean...
Funny, he's like, how are you so powerful you never lost anything, as he's literally kneeling in his deathbed.
Look, Virgil, The secret isn't much of a secret. You just stock up on gold orbs and everything solves itself.
You also don't have giant fuck me boss eyes.
Yeah, that would help too. I mean, I'm not even sure if hitting the weak spots is all that necessary in this boss fight. Or if they even are technically weak spots.
I mean, it's what Dante goes for when the boss fight ends, so...
Yeah. But it's like, I'm doing plenty of damage just hitting him anywhere. Because his armor is gone. I do like that he shed the armor so that he can move faster. Whereas in the previous fight that you can fight as Nero, he's still weighed down by all the tentacles and stuff. So they are technically two different boss fights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reminded of Zemus and Cage, too. Like, you fight the first part, and he's literally just a dude sitting on his couch. Then he's wearing his chest outfit for the final part.
Let's not forget the Cage, one final boss, where he's just kind of attached to a space whale.
Why'd he do that?
Why did he do that? I don't know. It feels like they did a giant god monster just because it was Final Fantasy tradition and didn't think too much about what kind of goddamn
this needs to be symbolic. I just we need to put the dude somewhere. Where? I don't know, but he has to be there. People have to know that it's him. All right, I'll just put it right there.
Okay. We'll do X Death again, but instead of tree, we go sperm whale.
Yeah, that'll make sense later. Are you sure? No.
Whew. Good spar.
You're late.
Was
I'm
it
up
though?
one.
Just to let you know. Is that really your brother?
Actually, come to think of it, how many times must Virgil have won in the underground for them to be even?
Blood. Right again.
That is like what the hell?
Well, maybe there's some truth to him saying, "Where'd you learn to count?"
Defeat, I see.
So at this point,
Is that Adam Driver?
Things are about to get no.
I like how Dante has no goddamn idea what's going on until the absolute moment where it's too late. Just like does not see this coming.
Wait
Fuck.
a minute. Is he playing me? No, he'd never.
I mean, he did stand aside for Nero in the previous game to let him finish off the enemy, so it's not totally out of character. But this is also his brother, so...
You think you'd take it a bit more personally, yeah.
If you can't even defeat me, then you've already lost.
I like how much of a goddamn robot Urizen is without his humanity, though. He just repeats the same phrase over and over.
Error, error.
It's getting awfully stormy out. I sense one approaching.
Oh, the wind is picking up.
Bones are aching. Storms coming, Dante.
Shame you and I, but you've lost me.
I like how the only thing Urizen seems to remember from his previous life is his rivalry with Dante.
Yet we are connected by that one feeling.
It is the rivalry with Dante that is connected most to his demon side, whereas V is plenty willing to you know, play nice with Dante. Ah yes, the penny drops. It would have dropped sooner if you didn't spend so much time having it custom made to have 2 outlines of Trish on it, Dante.
This is on you, you prick.
He's not wrong.
A lot of guys try really hard to be the alpha. Virgil takes it one step further. He's the alpha and the omega.
Wait a
Mine's bigger
minute.
than yours.
That's a reference.
I mean, it could be. It could all also just be Greek alphabet letters, who knows? The alpha and the omega is one of those things that's just like so common.
I think it's a Bible in a Bible passage too.
It is.
Which
It
might be.
It is in a Bible passage, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like, you know, the double pretentious callback going on, where you get to not only make the pretentious like Greek alphabet reference, you get to do a pretentious Bible verse, which is, as everybody knows, the best thing possible.
Yeah. Peak literature analysis.
It's what we do here sometimes.
Usually only when Ted's around.
I wouldn't call my literature analysis peak. I'd call it what you get when you half pay attention in in English 101.
It's like English, yeah.
Ah, yes.
That wasn't me.
The peak of combat. I have looked into that game a little bit since last session. Apparently it was pretty disappointing. You got to appreciate how Yamato's sheath appears to be made of fucking adamantium. Since he can apparently wield that as a weapon too. It always amuses me how anime and stuff portrays the sheath as being itself a weapon, even though it's made of wood and would snap under the kind of strain they put it under. I mean, that's
that's a Japanese swordsmanship thing, I think, where like you're expected to keep the sword in the sheath a fair amount of the time.
EI Jutsu specifically, it focuses a lot on a very swift draw cut.
Yeah, because you use your arm to pull the sword out as fast as possible, and you use the sheath hand to basically aim it.
Yeah. And then, as soon as it's free of the sheath, there's just a lot of momentum that comes out. Whoosh. It looks very cool, but it's also very fast, so it's one of those cool anime things that does have a basis in practicality. Although, it is amusing that the Batosai Rurouni Kenshin fucking was portrayed as having a reverse blade katana, which is the worst goddamn katana you could possibly do EI Jutsu with.
Wasn't he... Oh god, I've barely watched any Rurouni Kenshin. Wasn't he like trying to be bad though?
No. He was trying to not be a manslayer anymore. So he had a reverse blade katana that would break bones instead of slicing open flesh. The physics of the sword make no goddamn sense. It's also like the kind of sword that would directly hinder stuff like draw cuts. So I own one, so I have some perspective on this. I mean, I wouldn't swing my replica at a fucking tree or anything, but, you know.
Coward.
My father.
Okay, so the bombshell has dropped. Nero knows that Darth Vader is his father.
That's not
Bombshell.
true.
It's
That's
empty bullet casing.
impossible.
Well, you know, to be honest, Nero took it better than Luke did.
How long did this thing get up into space?
It's a demon tree. Just
You know what?
accept
I just
it.
realized Luke and Nero have something in common where they both lost their hand.
That's true.
Yeah, but
that is
Luke's
true.
doesn't get to like put a Mega Buster on his arm though. So who's the real winner?
I mean, Luke does
He
get
does get a robotic arm though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not a Mega Buster.
Give it some time.
Well, I mean, he could if he wanted. He just, you know, he'd rather have a sword hand.
Dante.
Also, I am disappointed it is not the lawn chair mod.
You can just hear the plastic scraping on the floor from here.
One of my favorite details in the Star Wars sequel trilogy is because they can do CGI now. They don't bother making Luke's robot hand look like a human hand anymore. They just give him a frickin' clunker junker hand. It's like, what? Did Luke decide to cheap out on all his replacements or something?
Like in this space economy.
He doesn't have Leia funding his hand anymore though. So
I mean, he could if he wanted. He could just ask.
no, he's too busy being sad to ask. You know.
Anyway, we now have the
Luke Sadwalker.
Kalina Ann 2, which means we can dual wield rocket launchers.
I'm disappointed it's not called the Kalina and.
And what?
Anyway, I will demonstrate how that works next part. It's actually a really cool weapon.